As soon as I said let's start, I'll
Go.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And like you're picking your nose.
Yeah, it's a very
Oh man.
What is the best season of our favorite shows? This is... All right, everybody, welcome back to Versus. We are talking about what season is the best season when it comes to Power Rangers. Sorry, I gotta get the energy going a little bit. Get everybody
Hell yeah.
on board.
For
But
sure.
Hell yeah.
this is our final semifinal match here, where we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it's going versus Power Rangers Dino Thunder. What is the best season out of these two? Who wants to try to sway me? Because I really have I've got no fight in this. I got no, I don't know what the saying is. I'm gonna just, whoever can sway me the best, you're gonna get my vote.
No horse in the race.
Horse, yeah.
All right, so this is really hard because you have the classic season versus the season it's trying to improve on. Like the show, it's like, okay, that's the formula. Let's try and modernize it and make it better. So it's really hard to compare these two seasons because it's like the father versus the son kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if I have to pick, if I'm gonna sit down one day and show my kids a show, I think it's gonna be Dino Thunder because I think that'll hold on to a new audience longer than Mighty Morphin would. Because when it comes down to it, it is dated. It's from the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. I watched that show when I was probably 4 or 5 when that started. But if I'm gonna watch something now, I'd say Dino Thunder. Both great casts. Both have episodes that have morals, which is what Power Rangers is all about, to find out morals within an episode, and I love that. But simply because one is more modern, it just hits better today.
Are you gonna be afraid that any of your kids are gonna wonder the clothing choices in Dino Thunder? Because it's that early 2000s, really awkward, cringe, Junko style. You know what I mean?
Oh,
This is Mighty Morphin, which feels so nostalgic, even
Perfectly
while it
90s.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the embodiment of the 90s fashion in literally every episode.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a time capsule show for sure.
Mhm. Yes.
Dino Thunder is trapped in this weird early 2000s fashion of
Absolutely.
this is cool, right?
Nobody ever looks good with really short hair that's spiky.
Yeah.
I'm going in on Tommy. Here we go. All right.
Hey, that was the 10th anniversary special, right? Mainly?
Oh my goodness.
That was bad hair.
Speaking of
That's
bad
really
hair,
real.
here's another thing though. Now, if you want to compare hair, let's keep it 100. Like in Power Rangers, they did Zach's shape up dirty. Like he never had a good shape up when he had his flat top. Ever. Now, when he got his hair braided, he looked cool. He looked good. They kept the shape up going. Like his hair was laid. He was good. But when he had the flat top, they had no barber that kept up with his shape up. That meant they hired no black people in that production crew because his hair was terrible. Terrible.
That's a
Ethan's
fact.
hair, though,
That's a fact.
yes, Ethan had the nice lineup.
Nice taped up.
When Ethan went to the barbershop, he had the razor up on the edges and everything. They made him look crispy. Even though he was a nerd, he looked crispy. So I have off of haircuts alone, give it to Dino Thunder because the brother got ass. And
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I love Zach. Zach is one of my favorite characters of all time. Even when he did stuff that I thought was a little stereotypical, where he punched a putty, then he was let me do a Michael Jackson spin and I was like, I still love you though. I still love you. But as far as I feel that Dino Thunder's characters are more 3-dimensional from the jump, even though it's okay, this is the jock, this is the nerd, this is the singer, and this is the doctor. Or was he a race car driver? Or was he, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? The character.
You change majors. It's fine. We all do it.
That man changed majors a lot. He was in college 11 years, all right? But the characters are more rounded out than in the original Power Rangers, but then at the same time, that show was trying to discover what it was. So But by the time you got to Dino Thunder, we knew what we all knew what Power Rangers was. So like there's that as well. So that's how kind of like Dino Thunder has somewhat of an edge, but it wouldn't have that edge if Power Rangers never happened. If Mighty Morphin never happens, it doesn't have that. Oh yeah, this is how we set this up now. This is how we do this now. So you kind of have to give Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that some form of vote, some form of props because of that. Haircuts aside. But like, man, see, that's tough. It's tough. It's also tough, and I'll try to make this short because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has some of my favorite characters, like Jason, and it's sometimes corny one-liners, or like him always just being that tough dude. Like Jason's always the tough dude, and you got Zach, you got Kimberly, who is the Valley Girl through and through. Which is a complete opposite of what they've done with Kimberly in the comics, which is weird to me, but that's another story for another time. And then, like with Trini and then Aisha and then Rocky and then Adam, like you had this constant mix, then Billy, and like Ethan, if you really think about it, Billy is the progenitor to Ethan. And like Ethan Ethan is what is Billy refined and also black with a nice shape up and the razor edges. So, like
about RJ from the movie, like that, I
feel like
it's like a combination of both Billy and Ethan.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, I agree. And like and he was my favorite in the whole movie. In the 2017 movie, he's my absolute favorite out of everything. Between that and Jason just slapping people for no reason. But no, like without Power Rangers, we don't have any of this. Without Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we don't have any of this. And like, I don't want to just vote on nostalgia alone, though. You know what I mean? So like, I'm still up in the air. I just threw some things out there to give some people some choices. But I'm still in the air. I'm still thinking about it myself.
Well, since we're talking about style, I love. I mean, the classic '90s costumes are fantastic. I actually think Dino Thunder is a better costume.
I love your suits so much. Yeah, they're great.
I don't know,
but really nice costumes.
I don't know. Those original Mighty Morphin designs are iconic.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like,
they definitely are for sure.
Iconic. They're iconic to us. Like you sit down with somebody from Japan and they see, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and they see Jew Ranger just plastered everywhere. Like, why did you guys make a multi-million-dollar movie for Jew Ranger? Like, like. To them, like that's such a here and gone season. Like you think of a lot of the Sentai that has come out, and it does maybe get an adaptation over here or not. Like those suits are here and then they're gone. You're kind of like moving at such a high speed over there that to think that like one suit like Tokyujers is like the end all be all suit that they'll never do bigger or better. Like that's kind of how I feel like when someone says that like Mighty Morphin's design is iconic. It's just iconic to us because that was our first one, kind of like Go Ranger. Most of the kids will know what that is even if they've never seen it. But I think it's just because it's the first one.
Also, I have to say some of the storylines were just done in at least trying to be surprising. Like the principal's actually this bad guy over here, which kind of felt like X-Men Evolution. If you guys watched that cartoon growing up, where Mystique is the principal. Like kind of felt like that, and her boss Mesogog, who he ends up really being, and he's the father of the White Ranger. Is the White Ranger being mind controlled? Is he conflicted? There was some really great storytelling with that also that I really enjoyed. And
they have like Zeltrax being Tommy's old friend Smitty and stuff like that.
Yeah, like that's some really good material that really works. And having, if you love Tommy or not, having him be the linchpin like that, having him bring in this new generation, even a whole episode. I've rewatched the episode. That's all a clip show of the past. Because it's so nice to have these new characters learn about the past and going, oh, Tommy's not just some guy. He's one of the old Ranger. It's a great episode. It actually is. Like the way it's done is actually really well done. So
it's a great episode.
Okay, so Tommy as the mentor. That's cool, right? Because we all love Tommy, or we are at least supposed to love Tommy. We're indoctrinated to love Tommy. And
we're supposed to love it.
Imagine the show. But it's Billy Cranston, like it's David Yost as that character or as that role. Or you even have like Bulk or Skull. And they're now, because they've been, around like the Power Rangers and they've really kind of shaped up and changed, they can now give back to this new, season and this new team and mentor them. And then they get to become a Ranger and they get to finally, prove that worth. I feel like just giving it to Tommy is just like a continual, like jerk off. Like, it's just like, I get it. It's great. He's fun. But like, there are so many other characters that I feel like could also fit in that, and just
Billy would be good.
Yeah, like it would be like really
Billy
fun to kind of see somebody that we don't always constantly see, especially because we saw him last season in the Wild Force team up, or in 2 seasons ago in the Wild Force team up. Like, I don't know. I want to reconnect with other people,
But in defense of that,
Yeah.
though, you have Tommy, a character that multiple generations got to grow up with him as their Ranger. From Mighty Morphin to Turbo, they got to watch that guy. And if you were watching Wild Force, you now recognize that guy. You're bringing in about 6 seasons worth of people to now watch your season because they might know that guy. Like, that's important to a studio also.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
There was also the rumor that Billy was supposed to show up in a few episodes of Dino Thunder. That was a rumor, mind you. So there was the possibility of getting Billy Cranston to continue that legacy of more dinosaurs per se. To have like the Blue Ranger there, but I guess it never came to fruition. Or I guess
if they had all the classic Rangers kind of sprinkled out throughout the season, that would have been awesome. That would have made the best season ever if they did that. Like, that would have been absolutely amazing. But is what it is.
Would have put more pressure on Dino Charge to do something similar. Yeah. Josh, also, do you guys have anything that you want to like add or want to petition?
You guys look
I
quiet.
think Nick said it best. Like,
Yeah.
Thank you.
like this is the
Good.
Dino Thunder is just Mighty Morphin done better, and that's just kind of where the conversation ends at that point. You know what I mean? You look at Mighty Morphin, Dino Thunder did it better. That's just it. There's nowhere else to go past that. I don't really know what else. You know what I mean? Because everything in Mighty Morphin was translated over and brought to this new generation and told better. The Evil Ranger story was done better. The different characters from different cliques of high school storyline was done better. Teenagers actually acting like angsty teenagers with attitude was done better. It just, there's nowhere else to go past that for me. I don't know.
well, and then you have the whole Rita, Zed, Master Vile through 3 seasons of Power Rangers. But then with Dino Thunder, you have your Mesogog, the evil principal. I forget her name. Who actually, to me, like was better than Rita. Because like with Rita, it was these 3 keynotes. I hate y'all. I have a headache, and make my monster grow. Okay, with Zed, I have no skin. Look at these pipes. Look at this silver. I hate all of y'all. Let my monster grow. Okay, then we got Master Vile. Hey, look at this head. You see this head? I kind of look scary. You know what? I don't like my daughter anymore. Nor do I like my stepson. Yo, by the way, make my monster grow. Oh yeah, by the way, let's take the kids back in time. Okay, that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's very this is the monster of the day episode. Whereas with Dino Thunder, there's this underlying thing. You do have the principal who is evil, who has her own plans to she wants to defeat the Rangers, but like she has to play both sides of the game. Then you have, the whole Mesogog and then the human side of Mesogog. So they're also playing both sides of the game. Zeltrax, in a lot of ways, even though that was Tommy's old friend, who sometimes, like Zeltrax, sometimes still gets conflicted from time to time. Zeltrax is playing both sides of the game. So you got like a lot of characters that are like not fighting with each other as much as they're fighting each other, from within. You have that with those enemies, and those makes those enemies more well-rounded, when it's all said and done. So as much as I love Rita, as much as, I like Lord Zed, which is still to me one of the weirdest American Toku creations.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, how did this pass parental board?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did this pass parental board? It's like, oh no, we just debuted it on primetime television. Everybody's going to let that go. And I was like,
we just have a skinless man. Like,
Right.
It was gonna be in Hellraiser. It was gonna be in Hellraiser. We'll put it in Power Rangers.
So I have to give it to Dino Thunder for the villains. I have to, because they're great.
All of this
They
just makes
are.
me feel like
They
I
really
really
are.
did miss out, like watching Dino Thunder. Like I said in the previous time that we talked about this, like Dino Thunder really was that season that came on, and I think it just did remind me too much of Mighty Morphin, which I was never super fully connected with because I was 2 years old. So I feel like I did maybe miss out on something like this, where I feel like Alsace and Josh probably got to go back and watch a lot of these seasons and catch those. Whereas, Sean and Nick, you guys watched this, like while it was on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, just kind of like discussing this, that maybe I did, miss a little bit of this and miss out on that. And, comparing it to a juggernaut like Mighty Morphin is really hard, but I feel like we have to get to the bottom of what is a better season, not just because of it's first or it's nostalgia or everything came because of it, because if everything comes because of it, then Mighty Morphin should just be crowned the winner.
Right.
Dino Thunder actually is my Mighty Morphin. Dino Thunder is my Mighty Morphin.
There you go.
Dino Thunder was my first season. That I was 4 years old when that came out. So just like how Josh loves Samurai and you guys grew up with Mighty Morphin, Dino Thunder is that season for me. Trent is my Tommy. You know what I mean? So it's like the same way you feel about Mighty Morphin is how I feel about Dino Thunder, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
That makes perfect sense.
Did you like Trent's 2 seconds in Dimensions in Danger?
Loved it. Loved it.
Zero lines. You get zero
No.
lines.
He just stared at Tommy in the background and was like, I'm here, guys.
Like,
I think the only line he had was, "Thanks, Tommy."
No, that
Right, I think that's what he said.
I think that was his only
That's what
line.
he did.
"Thanks, Tommy." I was like, "Oh, come on, bro. Come on, man. You deserve better than that." But
Your wife? What's her lines anyway?
one
Really.
one thing real quick. Think about this also, and before you place your vote. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had 3 seasons to figure out what it wanted to be. Regardless of how many times, they bring in new Zords from different shows, new robots from different shows, or change a costume due to footage reasons. It had 3 seasons to figure out what it truly wanted to be. Whereas Dino Thunder, was part of Super Sentai in American Tokusatsu, where it's like you get 1 season to do this, so make it count. Whereas with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, once again, because it's the progenitor to everything else in American Toku, it's trying to figure out, what it is. Because if Saban would have had his way, and if people wouldn't have, started to get tired of MMPR, we probably have these same outfits right now. Probably have.
But you said they had 3 seasons to figure it out. But based off your own argument previously, season 3 wasn't good.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And I still stick by that. But I have to use the facts. I'm like, the facts say they had 3 seasons. It's in the record book. I can't Master Vile or Lord Vile take it away. It's there. It's there. That horrible fight between the White Ranger and Lord Zed, where both of them look small and stiff, and Zed can't really move. It's there. It's right there. It's bad.
But there was the episode where Zed just pops up in the command center with his whole chair and spins around.
Now, I will admit that was some bullshit.
That was some great.
That was some bullshit. And if they would have did more stuff like that in season 3, I'd have been like, "Oh, okay, this is what we doing. Bet I'm watching." That's the only. I think that was I only watched part of season 3. Years later, I went back and watched it, and I was like, "Oh, good. I didn't miss much." And when the head popped up in the command center, all y'all some bitch. I rule this. None of y'all ain't got nothing on me. I was waiting for Denzel Washington from Training Day to come out, after he said all this stuff. That's how hard he was. Pause. But still, they had 3 seasons. They had 3 seasons to figure out who they were, what they wanted this series to be, and after that, they started doing 1 show a season. One show a season. You have 1 chance to make it right. You got 1 chance to get it together. That's it. And Dino Thunder does that. I can watch every episode of Dino Thunder without any issues. I can skip plenty of episodes of MMPR. Don't get me wrong. Countdown to Doomsday is dope. Return of an Old Friend is cool. Greenwood Evil is Gully. You know what I mean? All that stuff is really, really cool. However, Dino Thunder is consistent. Plus, you get the bomb Dino Thunder Ninja Storm team up.
Yeah.
So
That is
good.
really
I
good.
love that team up.
Don't bring up Ninja
Alright.
Storm.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
Well, unless anybody has anything that else they want to add, you guys think we should just vote? Get it over with?
I think, yeah,
Sure.
I think we can do it.
All right, 1 for
Good.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, 2 for Dino Thunder on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And it's unanimous. All right. So that means that Dino Thunder is moving into the final spot. And in our final episode next week,
Yeah.
it'll face off against SPD.
Let's go.
Oh,
Well, you guys don't have to wait. We're going to do it right now, but everybody watching is going to have to wait, a whole nother week.
And remember, with Dino Thunder versus SPD, no one gets inside.
no one gets inside.
Unless,
No one gets inside.
We're already inside.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
No one gets
Nobody else.
inside.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys next week. Oh, man.